Hi, I am very happy because I solved the problem that was bothering me, okay? And this problem is that I created infos to be reused. It's something that you want to do several times, need in several places, and want to write a single thing that can be called several times. So I created infos which kind of exist in any language, sometimes called functions, sometimes called procedures, and so on. But the point is that Multiverse Designer criteria is not exactly a standard language. For instance, the action step node is very complicated under the hood. It does several things. It's not simply run and forget. There are several things happening here. And if I try to put an action step inside an information, call that info somewhere, the action step will be nested into other action steps. And why is this bad? This is bad because criteria is all about automation. And to automate things, we need to have the least possible number of forms or screens and the least possible number of clicks and so on. What we want to do now is the advantage and disadvantage rule in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Now we can do an info to be used in all our rules. And we will use this new section called merged infos in the actor input. So the first thing we need to do is to create an info. And the idea for this info is that all 20 side rows that can has advantage or disadvantage will use this information. And this information will gather input from the player, from the DM, and will roll die and will return the correct value with advantage, with disadvantage, and so on. So let's call this D20 roll. D20 roll. First thing we need is an action step. Okay, and we'll return an integer, which will be the result of the roll. It may be a standard roll or an advantage or disadvantage roll, and the action will be a D20 roll. I will put here another parameter just for the journal. I will call it reason. Why we are rolling the die. So I need a string concatenation here. G20 row. And here's the reason. Parameter value comes here. And the parameter is reason. I will put a space here. I decided to have an input for the game master to choose if he wants to force some advantage or disadvantage at that particular situation. So I have an input field here. You already know this. And the input field will be, I struggle with the name for this, so I will call it odds. It's difficult because the game itself calls its advantage and disadvantage. So it will be standard, advantage, or disadvantage. If the game master chooses standard, it's a standard row, a D20 row. If it's advantage or disadvantage, we have two D20s and get the greatest or leastest value. And of course, the next will have a roll die here, and the roll dice here. And now it gets interesting. We roll for reason. Okay. And now we have three options here. Sum, max or minimum. So we need to see how the Dungeon Master chooses this and fill these things accordingly. First, the dice to roll, okay? We will use a switch node here, and I will put this here. It creates things, you already know that, or at least you should, if you see the other classes. But I will put a journal here just to show in the journal what it has chosen. It has been chosen by the Dungeon Master. So I will choose a choice, I think. Yes, I like that. Choice, the value, the tooltip will be odds. Odds. There's no other way to it. I am open to suggestions on how to call this, okay? But I'm calling it odds. So, if it's standard, the dice to roll is a d20. If it's an advantage or a disadvantage, I need 2 d20s. This is the dice that will be rolled. And now, we have something similar for here. We need to fill this with these 3 values. So I need to put this in real time, and I need to fill this with sum or max or minimum. We will again, this is an odds input field, and switch here. Okay, when it's standard, I will use the sum because it's the 1 die. When it's the advantage, I will use the max. And when it's a disadvantage, I will use the minimum result. And I made a mistake. I will let you think about 30 seconds on what mistake I did made. I used the input field here in the same input, and I always told you that these inputs can only be used at the resolution, so I cannot have the roll dice here. It won't work. So I need to nest another action step. In this case, nesting this action step, we do not have a problem. First, because the roll dice will not be run by the GM, it's another error. The roll dice should be run by the actor. So what I will do is to grab this guy and put here, okay? And this will be another action step. And this will not create a problem because this will happen at the game master screen and this will happen at the player screen. And now the actor action, I will fill this with anything because it will not be shown, because I will not create a new journal. I will use the journal that existed in the color, and here I will do the same. This is important for the journal to be one journal only for each action, which I found better, but you may want to have several lines for each action. It's your choice. If you check here, each check of new journal will create a new line in the journal. Don't confuse a new line in the journal with the icons that they exist in the journal, which are the journal node. This journal node here creates an icon. And this journal here, this action step journal, creates a line. And the show results creates text saying what happened. It's 3 different ways of showing things to the player. Now I will just put this here in case something is needed, but theoretically this should not be used. Okay, so we have all this. All we have to do now is in the resolution area, we have to return a value. We will return the result of the roll die. Let's review this. We have an info which has an action step, so it will call for input. The game master will choose this, and based on this, the player will roll a d20 or two d20s and will return these values. The sum of one die roll is the result of the die roll, and or the best of the both rolls of the least of both rolls. This is exactly what we want. So how can we use this? You will remember that we have here a d20 roll, and we'll substitute this roll for that info. But we don't need to call that info before the action. We need an action step. We want everything to be glued together. So I created this merged infos input. What we need to do is simply put this here. Oh, I made a mistake. No, I not made a mistake. This returns the values. So that's not what I want to do. This is important. I will let the mistake pass. I will correct this. This wants a comment, and since this returns the value, it cannot be dropped here. It has to be dropped in an expression. So what I will do is I will return here. I will not return any value here. Instead, I will create an output parameter with the result. Raw result. This is a return value. It doesn't have, this is a return parameter, call it raw result. And we will not have a return value anymore. And instead, we need a return parameter node. It's almost the same, but you choose the parameter here and you drop the value here. And we don't have this guy anymore, okay? So now, this is not an expression anymore when we call this info, because it doesn't have a return value. It's a comment. And if we go there, here, now I should be able to get this d20 row and got into the merged infos. Right. Perfect. Okay. And now we have a reason here. We are in ability check, so ability check. So we don't need this actor input anymore, because it will be done by the merged information. And of course, it has to be substituted by the result of this info. So in the places that I use the dice roll, I substitute it for the raw result. Okay, and this is how we use an output parameter. If you don't know, you just drag from here and choose the output parameter. In this way, you can have multiple output parameters from an information. You will remember that we already have game master inputs here specific to this action, and we don't have an actor input. Everything is for the game master here. The only thing that was actor input was the roll die. Okay, but now we have a merged info here, and this info has things that the game master will do and things that the actor will do. We will now test this, and we'll choose the quick dice roll, and now with the ability check. And you will notice that the odds are now merged here, because all of this is the game master input. So I will choose advantage. I will accept. And I rolled a 9 and 12. And it's a success because I have advantage, because I put it put a journal there. And the roll die show now me two separate dice, and The function returns 12 because it's the greatest. And this is the strength bonus, okay? And it gives me a 14. Okay, let's try a normal roll. A standard roll. It will roll a single die. Okay, it should have worked. Single die. And now we should run so I will add proficiency and disadvantage roll. Okay, 10 and 20. Okay, let's choose a 10. I failed. But this is working, and we now have advantage and disadvantage in the ability check. Now let's do the same in the skill and ability check. We don't need even to leave here. We can go to the criterion and actions, skill check, and this is basically the same thing. We need to instead of using this roll dice it's been used here, we will replace this with our newly created information. The D20 roll goes here. Oh, I hate this. I have to track that bug, but I don't have time. Okay, and it goes here, and I like to use a journal, and this is now skill check. Instead of this one here, I need a raw result parameter here. And that's it. It should work. So again, save this and test it. Skill check. Well, my odds are here. I'm liking it. So my odds are here. And now I know that I have, I think it's persuasion. Okay, yeah, and I will not look at it. So I will be a 15 and proficiency by skill, inability to default, and with advantage. And quick roll. Accept. Oh, it's wrong. No, it's why? Oh, I totally forget to take out the first. Let's correct this. Let's see if it worked. I rolled a 7. This is a bug. I forget to remove the old dice roll. It is still there, but the advantage is here. It uses a 19. 19 plus 3, 22, plus 2, 24. It's working. But let's correct the bug. I just forget to throw this in the garbage can. Again, let's test it again and save this. Okay, here, with disadvantage this time, and again, something I have skill, but it will use my wisdom ability. We did not check this the other time. It may not work. Never check this. We will put 15 here. And accept. Now it rolled this 2 dice. Fail. I got a 19 and 1. So I got a 1 and ability. Well, I was wrong, and it's not a bug. I simply do not have the skill on perception, and I have skill on other things, but not perception. So I don't have the perception skill. I have persuasion skill. So I confused it with perception. Sorry. But the good news is it's working. It's correct. Everything is right.